Hi everyone, this is Trish from the Sitesmith, and we're here today to show you 10 steps to a solid domain name. Now, in our business, we get a lot of people asking whether a specific domain name is good or how to pick the perfect domain name. Remember that there are 3 things that you want to do with your website. You want to confirm to existing customers that you exist and that you are who you say you are. You want to connect to people who are looking for your service and give them a way to connect to you. And finally, you want to convince people that you're professional, that you know what you're doing, and that they should trust their time and money with you. Essentially, you're going to convert strangers who you don't know into customers who you do know. There are 4 things you're going to learn today. The 4 core principles to a money-making domain, common small business domain name mistakes, 10 steps to setting up a domain, and finally, how to know if your domain name needs to change. Now, the 4 principles and some common mistakes are, first, that your site name is about what you do, not about you personally. Business is about helping people with what they need, so you want your site name to be able to show the service you provide to others. If your business name is established, there are advantages to keeping it the way it is because people will probably be looking for it by name. You don't want to use your name because it won't help people find you, and you're going to be ranking for it anyway if we do everything right. Another reason you don't really want to put the company you work for, let's say if you work for Prudential, you want prudentialsteve.com, is because you might eventually leave that company and you'll have to deal with changing the domain name. Now, that being said, it's more important to take action and pick something than to get bogged down in picking the perfect domain name. Almost nothing is permanent. You can always use a simple redirect if you change your domain later. The second principle is that you want to keep your domain name short. Ideally, you keep it to about 18 to 20 characters. No one is going to go to Steve's Houses and Doors in Pittsburgh.com when something like Pittsburgh Housing or Pittsburgh Houses and Doors will suit even better. The third principle is that you want to keep your domain timeless and brandless. Obama2008.com isn't a good domain. Obama.com is. You also don't want to include the brand you represent unless you are the brand. SteveSellsMacs.com is no good because what happens when you want to sell something else? Additionally, large brands will often change the rules on you and demand that you retire a domain that you've been using. So for that reason, it's a good idea to stay away from putting brand names in your domain name. The fourth principle is that you want to avoid hyphens because then you have to explain the hyphens to people when you're telling them what your URL is, and someone else probably has the real domain name. You also want to avoid add-on words like e or my. Now we're going to go over the 10 steps for you to pick the right domain name for your business. You can do this with pen and paper. You don't need any software. You don't even need your computer. First, you're going to sit down and list your product, your customer type, and the reasons for people to buy your product along with synonyms, such as lawyer, attorney, realtor, real estate agent, barber, hairdresser, hairstylist, for all of those words. Like I said, this is simple pen and paper stuff. You don't need any complicated software to do this step. The second step might actually be the first step. You want to commit 100% to getting it done today. Changing later is something that's totally doable and fairly inexpensive. You want to get in the habit of taking action. We're not striving for perfect, we're striving for good and getting it done. Step number 3, you want to consider your geography. If your customers are from a specific area, make this work for you. The smaller the neighborhood you serve, the better you'll be. You can't win the battle for Texas, but you might be able to win the battle in downtown Houston. Step number 4, write all of these things down. All of the combinations, city and business type, city and problem solved, neighborhood and business, etc. Step number 5, who are your dream customers? What are they doing right? What are they like? Make your site the site for your dream customers. Step number 6, combinations. Here's where you're going to write down all the combinations of product and service, locations, and customers. Step 7, without seeing what's available, write down what you like in order of preference. You need to rank the combinations that you've just written down in order of which ones you like the best down to which ones you don't like at all. Finally, at step number 8, go to a company that does domain hosting. Namecheap.com is one. GoDaddy.com is another one. We use GoDaddy because their domain hosting is really spectacular, but we don't use them for anything else, so we don't recommend them for hosting a website, but for domain hosting, they've got a great system set up. So go there, see what's available, and scratch off the stuff on your list that's not available. Finally, of the ones that are available, see which ones you like the best and pick one. Step 9, register the domain for 3 to 4 years. There is a small SEO benefit to registering it long term as opposed to registering it for just 1 year. Step number 10, point your domain name servers. You'll need hosting for this. If you're a customer of ours or plan to be one, you don't have to worry because we'll take care of this for you. If you're not a customer of ours, you'll need to find out what your name servers are from your hosting company. As I said, we don't recommend going to GoDaddy for your hosting. They're really terrible for that. Now we're going to show you how to purchase a domain on GoDaddy.com. As we mentioned before, there are several companies that do this. Namecheap is one of them, but we really like GoDaddy and their interface for managing our domains, so we use them for that. And we don't use them for anything else because we don't like the way that they do website hosting or email or any of that. But for domain hosting, they're terrific. So we're at GoDaddy.com, and you now have your list of possible domains that you come up with after following the 10 steps. Let's type one in here, and let's imagine that we are a CPA in Philadelphia, and we're going to try bestphillycpa.com. Now, you have options whether you want to have .com or .co, .info, but if you're a business, most people will assume that you're a .com. You're better off just sticking with the .coms. So look for that. And it is available, $11.99 a year, which is fine. We're going to click Continue to Registration. Now, they're going to try and sell you more stuff as you go along, a lot more stuff. Don't buy any of it. You don't need it. We want it for 3 years. Remember we said that if you register a domain for 3 to 4 years, there's a slight SEO advantage to having it for less time. So we're going to do it for 3 years. That'll be about $36. And they're going to keep trying to sell you stuff. And keep trying to sell you stuff. You're going to have to scroll down sometimes to get past it. Until finally you get to the checkout window. Now we are going to try and get a coupon. GoDaddy often has coupons around the web. All you have to do is go to Google and enter GoDaddy coupon or GoDaddy promo code, and we are going to use one of these and see if it works. And let's apply that and see what happens. And it did. It took off 25%. That's great. So it went down to $23.01. They have an option here to round up for charity by 99 cents if you want. We're not going to do that, but you can if you want. So just click Next, and it'll take you to the payment window. And this is where you're going to enter how you want to pay. You can do it with a credit card. You can do it with PayPal. If you happen to have a gift card, you can do it that way. And you can even do it with a check. You can see here it'll do it electronically with your check. So once you've entered all of this information, you're going to have to click that you've read and agreed to the terms and conditions. And we're not going to order right now, but you can go ahead and do that. Click Place Order Now, and it might ask one more time to confirm. If you're using PayPal, it will go to your PayPal account and you'll confirm it as well there. And once you're all done with that, you'll receive an email in your email address that you have gone ahead and purchased your domain. So you'll be all set to go. And that's about it for us today. Thanks for letting us be of service. If any of this was confusing, or if you have any questions, or if you'd like to talk to us about how we can help you, feel free to email us at trish@thesitesmith.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and have a great day.